Jock Journal Radio. Jock Journal Radio brings you NFL Talk Late Night. Just two hardcore fans talking football after their kids have gone to bed, and they invite you to join our conversation. If there's a hot topic or even a cold topic, these chumps will be drawing it up every night. So leave those nudie sites alone and call us. And if you're lucky, they might give you my number. NFL Talk Late Night from Jock Journal Radio.
Good evening, Jock Stars out there in Radio Land. It's Friday, and I'm sure many of you are already in that holiday mood and looking forward to another holiday weekend yet before Christmas. I know that my partner is out there about to leave the house probably early this morning and be heading towards his vacation. But before we begin, let me introduce my partner. I'm Nash.
And I'm Matt.
And you're listening to NFL Talk. So, Matt, did it feel good to finally get that last day of work and know that you don't have to be back for a very, very, very long time?
Yeah, you want to actually hear? This is my luck. It's funny you brought that up. I don't think I was even going to tell the story. So I was talking to my boss all day, and I am the top. I'm the top salesperson at my company, so I get a lot of leeway from her, and so I have a pretty good relationship. And so I'm messing with her. You know, I'm taking 2 weeks off, so I'm messing with her already halfway through the day. I'm like, hey, you want to let me get out of here early? Yeah, you can do that. I'm ready to go. And anytime she'd say something, I'd be like, oh, did you want me to leave now? And so I was messing with her all day. Well, she was leaving at 5:30. She told me that early in the day, so I forget that. She comes up to me at 5:30, right? I've been there all day, and I'm so ready to go. She comes up to me at 5:30 and is like, hey, okay, goodbye, Merry Christmas, and says, like, hey, have such a wonderful time on your trip, and yada, yada, yada. So I, forgetting she's leaving, I'm like, yes, she's letting me go early, woo! I, get all my stuff, and I'm, walking through the office, oh, Merry Christmas, boom, yada, yada, yada. Saying goodbye to people, even, the top boss. I go into his office, boom, Merry Christmas, have a great time, I'll see you later, yada, yada, yada. I walk out, and I'm about at my desk, and she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I'm leaving, not you. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and sit down now. And then the big boss comes by my desk, and he's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, so here's what happened. And he laughed for about 10 minutes at me because it was funny. That was my afternoon.
Still is held captive for another couple of hours then, huh?
No, just 30 minutes, but it wasn't a huge deal, but I just looked like an idiot.
Well,
I'm used to that, actually.
I recall in a time in debate when we had you remember this probably, OSU tournament, pentathlon award. Carrie Baker Hughes thinks she's got the award in the bag and was literally standing up, walking towards the thing before they called her name. And then they called my name, and she's like, what? And it pretended like she went to go sit down next to somebody.
Yeah, I remember that. That was good.
That was priceless. So I guess that brings to us our question of the day. Our poll question of the day is, have you ever been mistaken for somebody else and left yourself in a very embarrassing situation? Or have you mistaken that somebody else was talking about you and left you in an embarrassing situation? There's all kinds of them out there, especially when it comes to family gatherings and all the things that are involved. I remember one time, before I switched my name around, I went to a Christmas party where it said Carrie. I thought it said Carrie, but it actually said Corey, and I ended up opening up a present that was a thong, and it was actually meant for them later on. And I mean,
that's awesome.
I want you to go ahead and shock the jock and provide us with a story of when you either A, were mistaken for somebody else, or you thought that somebody was talking about you, and put your foot in your mouth big time. So go ahead and text us. I know it's hard because that's a lot to type in. Or go ahead and go to jockjournal.com/NFT. And right there on that page, you'll see a form. You can fill it out and put it out there. It might be worth up to $50. $50 to you if you got the most interesting story. Because at the end of the month, we're going to take that most interesting story or most interesting response, and we're going to give them $50 and put you on our wall of fame right there on Jock Journal. And who wants to be that first inaugural wall of fame? So, Matt, I guess we better get to the things that we got to talk about tonight, because there are some things that are actually happening in the news in the NFL right now. So let's get to it.
Real quick.
Yeah,
I just wanted to let everyone know, last night we started talking about politics. Things got a little heated with us. The opinions that I express are solely my opinions. I'm a little bit of a crazy sometimes, and we haven't gotten into half of it. So it is not the opinions of Jock Journal or anyone else here. I just want everyone to know that, because it's easy. It's such a polarizing thing that we shouldn't even really talk about, and we try and stick to sports, and we'll do that from now on. But the reality is it just divides people anytime you start getting into that. So,
sure. And I think it's important that we both admit that, as well as everybody else on this station or any place that you find Jock Journal. We're full of opinions, guys. We are essentially paid for our opinions. And most of you guys tune in to hear our opinions. However, our opinions are not that of Jock Journal. We are just simply, in fact, there's a lot of many differing opinions inside of Jock Journal. So the views and opinions expressed by this station and by this show are not that of Jock Journal Radio or Jock Journal itself. Understood? I think we all got that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to In the News.
So these idiots are talking news now? Are they pulling this off of Jock Journal? So I guess this proves they can read. What a joke.
All right, so the first thing on the agenda, it hit everybody's news feed all at the same time, right about midday. Julian Edelman back in New England Patriots practice. I swear to God, Patriots fans are literally probably sitting in their room doing nothing more than having those, white guy fantasies of Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, and Rob Gronkowski. Oh my God, all on the same practice field again. The season will not be lost. Tired of it, guys. Come on. Don't you guys understand that this sort of thing is nothing more than a ploy? Because they showed that they're a one-dimensional team against the Philadelphia Eagles and were completely and totally exposed and are just hoping that their next opponents don't figure out how one-dimensional they are, because they're going to be preparing for Julian Edelman and Rob Gronkowski. Whether or not they're going to play is a whole nother thing to be seen. Is this the way you see it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we talked about that last night with Gronkowski. If you believe this, you're setting yourself up to get Belichicked.
Exactly. That whole thing with Rob Gronkowski last night, I think what happened is the media probably got to it and they're like, oh, it's probably just Belichick being Belichick. So Belichick's probably like, damn it, I need some new moves. Let's just double down on this. Let's throw another guy's name out there, have him run around the practice field a little bit, and we'll call this good too. I don't think he's fooling anybody, aside from Patriots fans, who's just going to be completely and utterly disappointed when they don't see either of these yokels back on the field this week. At least that's what I'm thinking.
They're not going to be back on the field. There's no way.
They at least they shouldn't be. They really shouldn't. It would be a ridiculous situation for either of them to be on the field with their injuries, especially when you know you still have your playoff thing in the bag. You're still the number 2 seed, which almost assures you home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs. Yeah, the only person you're second fiddle to on this is the Cincinnati Bengals, who still have the first seed at this point. However, don't push it. Don't force it. Don't make this happen to the point where you might lose them and then end up losing in the playoffs because one of these guys came back from injury too soon and are going to be put up for 3 to 4 months. So, and Belichick's smart enough. He knows. He's just playing head games with the team that they're playing this week. It's all he's doing, and until you guys get that, you guys are going to falter. Do you think this is going to give them any advantage at all? Is anybody following for it?
Well, yeah, I mean, of course they're going to fall. It's not fall for it. They are going to have to. If there's even a chance Gronkowski plays, you're going to need to game plan for him. Same thing with Edelman. So it's not even really a ploy. The only ploy is he knows they're not going to play. Does the team say, we know they're not going to play, just game plan as usual, or do they plan? It's just another wrinkle that they have to deal with, and Belichick is smart. He's going to find any way to win. He is really, really smart. He is going to find any way to bend the rules and do whatever he can so that he can get an edge in the game. And it's not about whether it works or not. They have to account for that and try and game plan for it a little bit. So, of course, it's going to work. Does that mean they win the game? Who knows? But
well, if there's ever a person who's wise to his trick, is his former assistant coach, which is who he's facing this week, of Bill O'Brien and the Texans. The Texans' defense is really their big claim to fame at this point, I would say. And the fact that this is going to be a Sunday night matchup screams, this is something good. I can't imagine Bill O'Brien falling for any of this one bit. If Gronkowski might show up on the field, the minuscule chance that occurs, I don't think Bill O'Brien really gives two damns at this point, because I think he knows Belichick enough to know not to waste too much time on that. That's just what I'm thinking. However,
yeah, I agree.
I might be mistaken, and we all might just see both those dudes out there and have a little, white Three Musketeer party going on, and they might show up and be really good. However, I just doubt it. I think it's a bad move all the way around. Let's just hope they don't get hurt on the practice field. The other thing I want to talk about today is this NFC East situation. And we have a caller who's going to be talking to us about the concussion thing here in a second, which was originally the next on the agenda. But here we are in the NFC East. 3 people have 5-7 records. 1 team has a 4-8 record. It's looking like the chances are that there's going to be a losing team going into the playoffs. So Riggleman created this nice little sketch, this little parody, and I'm going to go ahead and play that for everybody really quick.
Yep, it's a duck. Oh, hello, football fans. Dr. Rob here. You may recognize me from my televised malpractice cases. I'm here today to talk to you about a disease that's becoming more and more widespread as the season goes on: playoff ineligibility. In the past, cures for this condition have included everything from accelerated drinking schedules to trying to pay attention to hockey. But I'm proposing something much more radical: a healthy dose of vitamin NFC East.
Pill bottle is for dramatic effect only. No pills are necessary.
This is a revolutionary drug, so new and exciting, even Johnny Manziel hasn't partied with it yet. Yes, the NFC East, where you're always still in it. Are you tired of losing your division just because everyone else is trying too hard? Can you count the number of good defensive players on your team on one hand? And is that hand missing fingers because of a firework accident? What if I told you your most important player could break his collarbone twice and you'd still be eligible for the playoffs in Week 13 with only 3 wins? Impossible? Shows what you know, you hypothetical morons. In the NFC East, you're always still in it.
Fans of many teams often feel depressed, even suffocated by playoff ineligibility. But with the NFC East, the bar is lowered so much that fans can once again breathe freely and face the day. Delightfully delusional.
Don't wait. Abandon all loyalty and self-respect and ease into some sweet eligibility. Soothing, isn't it? The NFC East, where you're always still in it.
Warning: side effects of rooting for the NFC East include Sanchez fever, Eli face, delusions that Nick Foles was the answer, blindness to the inappropriateness of mascots, G meningitis, H1N1 RG3, cowboy gout, whooping coughlin, dysuria but not shingles, never shingles. Please note this doc is a paid actor and a good friend of Rob Riggles, but otherwise is in no way associated with the NFC East.
Should you experience a need to pick games lasting over 4 hours, go with the Cardinals and the Texans and then consult anyone but Strahan. He has no idea what he's doing.
Okay, guys, that was the NFC East. I'm having technical difficulties, and we haven't had these technical difficulties since before. For whatever reason, I cannot merge my caller in, and I thought we had those things fixed. As you know, we ended up trying to work some of this stuff out, and I don't know why it's continuing to have these problems on a regular basis. So we will not have the caller from Jock Journal until we get these things figured out, and I'm sorry that that's occurred. And the writer will